Welcome back, Rankers. Big story this week out of the New York Times. Dirty little secrets of search. What the story revealed was that JCPenney's, a large American retailer, was buying backlinks, and the reason that's a bad thing is that it's against Google's terms of service. So whilst a couple of weeks ago they were ranking #1 for all these phrases, they have now gone into digital oblivion because it's been reported to Google, and Google has downgraded the value that all these paid backlinks that they'd bought were giving them. Now, the reason that companies will buy backlinks instead of letting them happen naturally or getting put into directories or whatever is that quite often there's not a lot they can do on the site. In the case of the JCPenney site, it's rubbish. The code is rubbish. And from a Google's perspective, I'm talking about, there's nowhere to optimize the site to let Google know what the site's about. And we see this time and time again. We see a lot of sites over the years where we just rebuild them from scratch. And we've never called ourselves web developers before, but that's changing. We are web developers. We are developing websites. So if you need a website developed that's going to be found in Google, then please come and talk to us. Because this site, to me, just illustrates how much trouble a company can get themselves in. They would have spent millions getting to this point, and now it's all for nothing. They would have lost all that traffic, and I mean millions they would have spent, because they're spending millions a month on their AdWords campaign, according to the New York Times anyway. And we can see a couple of ham-fisted attempts at SEO at the bottom of the page here, where they've tried to insert key phrases using these tabs and hiding the phrases unless you click on the tabs. For instance, their quality values are changing tables and dining room sets. That's what their quality values are. I don't know what that means, but there you are. It's obviously just a ham-fisted attempt to get keywords into the site. Now, we love social media. We build Facebook pages. We build YouTube channels. In fact, we're probably the country's most experienced when it comes to internet video. We help people with their Twitter presence and all these other things. But all those social media outlets, and especially in the case of Facebook, for instance, they're usually campaign-based, unless you're having an ongoing dialogue. And for that to happen, you really need a mindset change within the organisation. And you can try outsourcing some of that, and you can probably outsource campaigns, but you really need to have a mindset change within the organisation. But guess what? It all starts with Google. Before you get to any of those things, it starts with search. 90% of purchasing decisions are researched in Google. Don't believe me? Have a listen to David Meerman Scott. Did the interview with him last week, and he says it all starts with Google. Before you do anything else, get a website, get ranked in Google. Don't believe him? Go and have a look at the Edelman Australia blog today. Edelman, their trust barometer for 2011, has said, the research indicates that search engines are the most trusted sources of information for Australians when they are seeking information. Australians go to Google first. Search is the marketing that keeps on giving. All those other things come after search. And we rebuild so many sites. Probably every second site that we see, we have to rebuild because it's built in some weird content management system that the web developer decided to build so they could have an ongoing charging relationship with the client. If you need a website that doesn't need to rank in Google, then please don't talk to us. There are certain sites that we won't touch because of the way they've been built from the start and the noise that they've put into the Google index. Most web developers, if you ask them, say, ask your web developer this, or ask next time you're talking to a web developer, or if you're getting a quote from a web developer, ask them how they look at the Google index. Because a lot of the sites that we see, there's duplicate content in the index. Sometimes pages can be repeated hundreds of times, we've seen. And it's just because of the bad way that the site's been built. And the web developer doesn't understand how Google looks at the site. Now, you may think that I'm just sitting here, kicking the web developers. I'm not. Most web developers come from a technical background, or maybe, the web development company has a design bent. That's great. All those things are great. But at the end of the day, usually a website for a company is about business. It's about generating traffic to the site. It's about generating leads. It's about generating sales, all those sorts of things. And quite often you will have a company that spent thousands and thousands on a website. They get 6 months down the track and they find that there's no traffic to the site because it can't be found. And so they're spending money on TV advertising, they're spending money on billboards, they're spending money on magazine advertising. And, finally they decide that they need the SEO. If you build the site properly from the start, you will get traffic to the site straight away. The first website that I rebuilt back in 2005, the site was a weird content management system, couldn't be found in Google. I rebuilt it overnight. It went to #1 for all its key phrases in Google, and the site started getting traffic. I started out in this industry selling websites back in 1995, and back then people used to say, well, how are we going to make money off this site? And we go, oh, well, save your money sending out brochures. And it seems to me that a lot of web development companies haven't got past that. Of course, there are exceptions, and hello to all my web development friends. But if you need a website developed, then it actually makes it easier and cheaper for us and for you if we do it and also get you ranked at the same time. And that is it for this week's show. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.